Property prices could rise by 10%. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's look at this article written by Kakulis for Yahoo Finance about property going up 10%. What do you reckon, everyone? Now, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. So property prices could rise by 10% by 2025, and here is why. An increase in migration, low housing supply could lead to a new property boom. And I honestly think that a lot of people, because of the construction apocalypse and all of the negative press surrounding people building houses, are going to be driven to established houses. I think that's going to have more of an impact that people will realize. So despite the 10 straight interest rate increases from the Reserve Bank of Australia from May 22 to March 23, which has seen official rates rise by 3.5%, property prices have not only stopped falling, but they appear to be on the rise. Both the CoreLogic and PropTrack data show that nationwide house prices are on the way up, which is confusing many analysts who are looking for prices to drop by 15, 20, or even 30% on the back of interest rate increases. The peak to trough change in house prices was 9% according to CoreLogic and 4% according to PropTrack, which is not too dissimilar to prior cycles when house prices had fallen in Australia. According to CoreLogic, house prices rose 0.6% in March and moved higher in the first part of April. Using the high-frequency data, house prices in 5 major cities have risen by 1% from the early February low point. The PropTrack data, which have a slightly different methodology, rose in January, February, and March. Here we go, the median house price. Okay, they're showing us how, well, it's just going nuts. So what's driving the property price changes? As I've written many times in the past, house prices are driven by many moving factors, with interest rates having no long-run impact, rather a cyclical effect as they go up and down. More important are demand and supply, and this is going to be the big problem because demand is going up. You know what? I'm going to bring up my my PowerPoint because demand for property is certainly going up, guys. And let me just go through. These are the 9 points that I'm arguing why we're not going to see a huge housing correction. Let me just find it here, the housing bust. Okay, and we've got, the first one is predictions of a crash. We've seen those everywhere. The increased affordability challenge of housing. We've got fewer bad loans. Now, sure, there are some people who aren't paying, but it's going down. It's not as significant as people are making out. Okay, these non-performing loans, it's a reduction from what we had in the past. So that's going down. Fewer bad loans. We've got migration returning to Australia. People want to live in Australia, okay? And I know you can make the argument, population growth can't always last forever. It can on a colony on the edge of the world. What do we got? We don't even have 30 million people in the country yet, guys, okay? Come on. So you can see here, people are coming back. People are coming back. They're migrating to Australia. We've got the construction apocalypse, which we've been following on the channel. Now the playlist is, I think, 70 videos or something crazy. It's sad. And this is going to destroy people's confidence in building. Why take the risk? Buy established. You've got construction insolvencies. External administrations in the building sector went down. Now they're shooting back right up again. You've got government support and stimulus for the housing market. You've got the cash rate, which has crashed. Not necessarily government, but it feeds into it. Home builder, juicing up housing. First home buyer grants, and in some states you were getting up to 88 grand. Now you've got shared equity. You've got 5 and 2% government loan guarantees. The only good thing here, they capped the number at like 10,000 people. So it sounded like it was significant, but it's not going to be as dire as America. You've got negative gearing, part of our culture. People use housing to reduce their tax. I can't blame them. You pay so much tax, you're an employee, what can you do? Negative gear. Yeah, and you've got the super withdrawals, which helped juice it up. In home builder, you can see the approvals that increased. You've got keeping the zombie companies alive. This shows you they can just change the rules when they need to do it. Guys, that one worried me the most. You've got reducing supply. You've got the not in my backyard crowd. They're a big problem. You'll have, the Greens, the young Greens politician who's their representative for housing at not in my backyard protests here in Brisbane. So you can't have it both, guys. You can't have affordable housing and be a NIMBY, okay? You can't be both. Those things don't work. You've got market competition. 50% of Australians live here and here. Okay, that's why. So there's always going to be demand. You've got legislation changes coming in year after year that may sound good. You may agree with them, but they drive up the costs. These new changes in sustainability and accessibility are going to add about thousands of dollars to builds. 30 grand to a new build. Buy an established house. Doesn't have that. You don't have that requirement. You've got APRA interventions. They said they'll change the rules if necessary. They don't want to choke off credit to house prices. You've got family support. The cynical bastards like me that watch the channel, 66% of you are going to help out family. Keep that in mind. Okay, that's always there. And now the FOMO impact. This is the amount of housing that changed over in the mania, during the mania period. 600,000 out of, we've got 10.5 million dwellings, and only 10% of the 2% government loaners. How many of these are going to be in trouble? How many of them are going to be fine? So these are all these things that we need to come together. All the people who've already bought and sitting on their houses, they should be fine. Sure, interest rates are going to go up on their mortgage, but it may just return to rates that they're used to in the past. So let's jump back and look at this article. So demand for housing at the moment is booming. The surge in immigration and the return of international students. Now, the international students won't be buying houses, although some are. They will increase the demand for rental properties, and it flows through the whole market. Has seen demand for housing increase. The extra 500,000 people have to live somewhere. They're competing with locals in the rental market, where vacancy rates are tracking at near record low levels. Rents are rising at a strong double-digit pace. This jump in demand is now spiraling into prices where what might be termed bargain hunters are paying 5 to 10% less for a dwelling now than a year ago. At the same time, the growth in supply of dwellings is muted. Australia is simply not building enough new homes to accommodate the extra people coming into Australia. The number of building approvals for dwellings has slumped to around its lowest level in a decade. This is worrying. What I'm concerned about is the brain drain from the construction industry. Okay, people are going to get the shits with it and are going to leave. You're going to lose capacity. And then, of course, there'll be a call for more immigration to bring people in overseas because we can't skill up fast enough. We're going to lose capacity here. In more recent months, this has been more of an issue with the collapse of many small and medium construction companies that have been hit by sharp increases in costs and shortages of labour to build those much-needed dwellings. These problems will erode the growth in new supply. The simple interplay of strong demand relative to a weak supply-side response is the critical element in the recent turn in house prices. Linked to that is the sharp increase in construction costs, which have risen by more than 25% in the past 2 years, and these costs are being passed on to home buyers. These costs impact house prices. If the cost of bricks and timber and wire and windows increase, builders will only construct new dwellings if they can recoup those costs by hiking their prices. The other pivotal issue for house prices is the resilience of the labour market. Wages growth has increased at the same time. The unemployment rate has remained around a 50-year low. Household incomes, as a result, remain strong. While people have a heightened level of job security and incomes are rising, they will be able to not only absorb interest rate increases, but will be able to use this personal financial well-being to purchase dwellings. A high unemployment rate would be poison for house prices, but this is clearly not the case at the moment. So what will happen to property over the next 18 months? A near-term house price surge remains unlikely, with interest rates restrictive and with some rise in unemployment through 2023, the positive impact of demand and supply issues will be muted. This suggests that house prices will go broadly sideways to slightly up for the remainder of the year. A few small ups and possibly small downs likely each month until late 2023, with nationwide prices set to rise about 2% by the end of 23. After that, and when the RBA looks to cut interest rates perhaps before the end of 2023, the demand pressures will feed into a positive climate where prices should rise 10% through 2024 and into early 25. This seems to be a strong upswing, but all it means is that price falls from the early 22 peak will be regained by the end of 24 and early 25. So there we go, everyone. Let's have a talk about this one. So what do you reckon? What do you reckon? I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, I mean, we'd just be returning to the peak, the COVID mania peak. I mean, there's nothing here addressing the supply issues. If anything, it's going to get worse. Labor isn't going to do anything. You tell me, guys. You tell me. Would you be surprised? Do you still think there's going to be a huge crash? The predictions of a huge crash aren't manifesting. There's too much supporting the market. It's not fair. It's bullshit. But that's Australia, guys. Sure, we got a whole lot of land, but no one wants to live there. Anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Check out Heise BIM and Heise Does. And if you're a fan and enjoy the content I discuss here, you can support us on YouTube or Patreon. Use our referral links, buy our pocket squares, or call us if you need an architect. Take care. Have a great day. I'll see you all in the next episode of HeiseSays. Bye for now.